Hey everyone, welcome back. I am here today to talk to you about another question that someone on Facebook has asked me. And that question today is they want to know my biggest struggle or weakness growing up and how did I overcome them. So they wanted to know like the different struggles at the different ages. I will give examples, sort of, that I had to really think about and nitpick to find. But I just want to say that, like, to me and my family, my life was completely normal. I didn't have struggles or weaknesses. I had siblings that made me do everything. I had to keep up with them. If there was a moment where they saw me slightly lagging behind or seeming like I didn't want to do something, that was unacceptable. It was, Kathy, we're doing this, you're doing this too. And they would show me how to do it and keep me doing those activities until I learned how to do them on my own. There was never a point in any of my family or my siblings' lives where they thought, oh, you know, she's really slow at this or she's struggling. I really just had a normal life like everybody else, and no one's perfect at everything. Everyone's got to be slow or not so great at something, and that's just how my life was. With that said, I will try my best to give some examples, but I'm really like nitpicking. For my young childhood, for example, the only thing I can come up with is that I was slower at learning how to ride a bike. The only reason I have that as an example is because I remember having a conversation with my older brother when I was younger, that he felt that I got to the age where I was too old to have training wheels on my bike. So he took it upon himself to take my training wheels off and hide them. And then he made me come out and get on my bike, and I had to ride in circles in the driveway. And mind you, it was a gravel driveway. I had to ride in circles, and I kept falling, and he would just encourage me to get back on my bike. And I got back on, and I would keep riding in those circles until he told me that I got it. And that is how I learned how to ride my bike. You know, that is the only example I can think of as a young child. You know, and it's only because he and I had this one random conversation about it when I was little that I remember. And that's basically how I overcame my struggle of riding a bike, is that my brother took me out there and made me do it over and over and over and over again. And if you have seen my other YouTube videos, you'll know that I have said, and probably multiple of them, that repetition, to me, repetition is huge. Even when we get really annoyed and we don't want to do it anymore, keep making us do it because we can get it. And it's a normal thing. Normal. My teen years, again, the only other weird, I just call them like weird things, weird quirks. I don't consider it like a struggle or a weakness, but maybe an odd moment in my life was that I spent a lot of dinners crying behind my bedroom door. We would start out with dinner, and then people would get talking, and between 6 siblings, somebody's going to have an issue with someone. And for some reason, strangely enough, to me, my older brother would constantly pick on me. And to me, it was hurtful. And I would storm off, and everyone would say, oh, there goes Kathy storming off down to her bedroom again, slamming the door. But that was normal me. Even that, no one really thought that was odd. I just threw tantrums. That was one of my tantrums, and I would get over it. you know, a little later. I did always remember that I would sit behind the door wondering why no one was coming to like see if I was okay or comfort me or why are you crying. Nobody ever did that. So, you know, eventually I outgrew it. But when I had a chance about a year ago to really dig deep into some things, and I looked back at this moment and I thought, you know, I've been talking to people a lot about how I feel that a lot of our behaviors as ACCers come from when we misunderstand people, misinterpreting their tone of voice or their facial expressions. And I am now convinced that I completely misunderstood my older brother and that he probably wasn't saying anything so bad. And that's why no one was coming to the door, because no one understood, well, why in the world is Kathy storming off? Because I was completely misunderstanding him. So that, I would say, like, I didn't really ever overcome it. I just eventually realized, like, okay, I need to just stop storming off. But it also helps when your brother goes to college. You know, you don't have to do that anymore. It wasn't until, like I said, just a couple years ago that I thought, oh, well, maybe this is why. Maybe I was just misunderstanding him. As an adult, I would say I struggled with trying to find out who I was. I feel like I often copied my oldest sister a lot. Because weirdly enough, I feel like we have the same facial expressions, the same laugh, the same gestures, just weird quirks. You know, she liked Springer Spaniels, so I got a Springer Spaniel. She got a Chihuahua, so I got a Chihuahua. She liked horses, so I liked horses. You know, it was like weird habit things like that. So I guess I really overcame that by realizing, like, okay, I really need to find my own identity. I started to do that more when I met Tom. He helped me to see that I'm allowed to have my own feelings, my own opinions, and my own views, and those would be okay to have, even though they're different from others. Another specific example is when my oldest daughter, she's right now almost 6, when she was about 2, I remember we were sitting on the end of her bed and I was reading her story. Must have been a story about colors. I don't remember what it was, but it must have been about colors. And she looked at me and she said, "Mom, what's your favorite color?" And I thought about it for a minute. I said, you know what? That's a good question. I said, I used to tell people that my favorite color was green because a good friend of mine, his favorite color was green. So I just assumed, okay, that's going to be my favorite color too. I said, you know what? I actually really like the color yellow. Yes, yellow, Natalie, yellow is my favorite color. And like that was almost like this, it was a really neat moment for me to be like, oh, you know, it took my own kid asking me, what is your favorite? Not anybody else's, yours. And I really got to think about it and give her the honest truth answer. And that is honestly the truth. My favorite color is yellow. It's a very pretty color. And it's always happy. Nowadays, I would say, you know, I'm now in the phase of parenting. And I would say the only thing that to me that will come up as a struggle, it's come up, you know, a little bit here and there, but the kids are still little, but I feel like as they get to teenagers, it's going to be a lot harder. My children's behaviors, and whether they are typical age behaviors, or if it's my own misjudgment of their facial expression and their tone of voice, sometimes I struggle with that because I feel like I can't tell if I am making them have these bad behaviors because I'm not understanding them, or if it's just their age, and all kids do that. So I struggle back and forth with that, but to overcome it, I'm learning that I have to step back and listen, I'm a lot more patient, and I try not to lecture them a lot. And, you know, you just let life happen, and I just have to really try not to be so on top of everything that they're doing. And that seems to give them more free range to be happy. So that's really all I have to say on that question. Again, I think that people shouldn't look for struggles or challenges in their kid, or, you know, you don't want to find out all these things about what other ACCers, oh, this was your struggle and this was your struggle. Okay, I'm going to watch for that because maybe that will be my kid's struggle. Don't watch for that. Treat your kid normal. You know, go ahead, push them at these certain tasks, make their brain grow and want to learn it. It might take them longer, but guess what? They can learn it. So don't assume that they're going to have struggles or weaknesses. Everybody does. Every normal person has some kind of struggle or weakness. But it's all perfectly fine. So please remember that this disorder does not define you. You can define this disorder. Thanks.